Proxy, Table Gaming, P of the T of the G. I am Hyper G. Lucky Sixes. Hello.
Into house.
Yes. Yes.
How you doing?
It's a random Wednesday where we are,
Yeah,
which won't make any sense for the
it's literally.
recording because it won't go out on a Wednesday.
It
But
definitely
still,
won't.
no, no. It's Hump Day, as they like to call it.
Hmm.
Not for PTG, it's not.
Absolutely
Every
not.
day is a working day for
No, we
PTG.
we crack on and actually before we just started the bat rep, which we have for you next, I just want to say a huge thank you to some of our followers and supporters on
Yes.
especially on Patreon. We've had a few more this couple of weeks actually, which has been
Yeah.
pretty interesting and pretty nice to see. But if I move over to the screen here, yeah, thank you to everybody on this list. I'm even going to move us out of the way because we are blocking some people, and we do not need to
That's
block some
cool.
people. Raymond Kennedy this Sunday. I've updated it as well, so if you weren't on it before, you definitely are now. With a whole bunch
That's
of
amazing.
people. So we
So good.
just want to take just a second to say how much we appreciate all of you, and
Yeah,
we really appreciate your support, and it really does help with us and our motivation,
massively.
and ability to offer you things with high quality and new things and stuff like that as well. So it keeps the lights on for PTG as a YouTube channel, but we just want to say we really appreciate you. And thanks very much to everyone that's putting in any sort of money or not, or just support. We just
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Yeah, and I think as a little challenge to anyone who's not on that list, let's make it so that Lucky Sixes not only has to change his font size on the list, because that would be funny if we made him work even harder, but also if he had to change his format and make it like three columns or some other
Oh,
design.
absolutely.
That's the sort of thing he lives for. He's literally waiting for that kind of format change. So
I
anyone who
love
isn't on that
editing.
list
I
and
love
wants to
it.
be,
Yeah.
you know, let's make him do it. Let's make him change it.
No, absolutely. But yeah, so thank
That's
you
really
to
cool.
everyone. Yeah. Yeah, it's really good, and super excited about everyone and being on there, and we just want to say just wanted to take a moment to say we
Big
appreciate
thank
it.
you.
Even you old folk on YouTube that just like, share, subscribe, comment,
Yeah,
etc., etc.
that
We
helps
just
too.
appreciate everyone. But I just want to take a moment for our Patreon people, just because they're that extra step, which is
Mm.
never pressured, but very much appreciated.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But back to
What's
business.
this double vision
I
highborn elves? This
know.
is the
Yeah.
worst
So
video. What did you draw me into
apparently,
here? I didn't agree to
apparently,
this.
no, I know. I on the sly said, "Ah, let's do a bat rep recording." It's only me
Yeah.
and another high elf in the
Oh,
Masters Open, of
boo.
course.
Yeah.
This is my round against Darren. This is my list as well for people that want to take a look
Round
and have a look.
three.
We have a Spear Prince Master of Kenrick Tower, a Commander Fleet Officer on a Sky Sloop, which I'm finding interesting. Is a new addition. Queen's Companion BSB with the Bow of Elu, or Elu's Heartwood, or whatever it's called. I think it's changed again in the thing.
All
I
right.
just don't like the names. Big unit
Uh,
Spears, big unit Sea Guard, medium unit Sea Guard, some Reavers, a huge unit Queen's Guard, two Initiates, and one Lion Chariot. Two Lion Chariots. One Lion Chariot called Catclaw, one Lion Chariot
they
called
are very unique.
Rory, and he's a
Rory.
drinker.
Brr.
So
Love it.
yes,
And who is this
that's my.
other weird person that
I
plays Highborn
know
Elves?
we have another in
It
our
must be
mix.
Darren.
It is Darren Williamson, England player yet again. So congrats on
Yes.
that,
Yeah.
my man. He has the Royal Huntsman on the Line Chariot, which we have actually seen in the duel round.
We have.
And if you haven't, it was last
Did very well.
Friday. Go and check it out because it was very, very good fun, and it actually went through a lot of the characters in a lot more
Mm.
detail as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's multiple wounds 2 against big stuff. He's very
I
scary.
know.
Yes, you do. Yeah. He's got a master mage with pyro with the book, which is
Yeah.
very interesting to see, and obviously as an elf, very very scared to see. He's got a BSB Queen's Cavalier on a horse, which going in is not. It's a Rhymer unit. Sits and Spears, a bigger unit than I. a small unit of archers, 2 units of reavers, a unit of swordmasters to go along with a medium unit of Queensguard, and a single lion chariot. And yeah, it was a really interesting one. The Queensguard, obviously, I'm scared of, and I know there's less of them, but whoever shoots first is going to do some damage. So I very much had that in my mind. And the Knights of Rhymer, while I think my spears can probably take them, would just cause havoc everywhere else. So I'm interested to see that. I don't know how I'm gonna deal with the High Prince on a huntsman, because I think with the scroll, my lord doesn't want any part of him. So I'm most intrigued about that. That's the bit that scares me the most. Otherwise, it's quite similar, and my shooting is pretty good. So I'm sort of getting first turn, etc. Things are big parts in this, but otherwise, it's a quite an interesting match, and we always have some interesting ones with Darren. Hidden agendas, which means it's all about the secondary, which was an interesting one as well. And bottleneck, which is a deployment you'll see in a second. I got Master of the Veil, which is get a unit in the center, which again with my list in particular with the 2 initiates is pretty nice, and the spears in the middle. He got Demonstrate Superiority, which is he nominates the 2 most expensive scoring units. I think this is one you talked about in your last battle. And if they are,
you mean?
Sorry,
I moan about, yeah.
Well, yeah, that's it.
Standard.
So if they are destroyed, decimated, shaken, or touching my own deployment, they lose, and that's obviously the spears and the Queensguard. So touching my own deployment is an interesting one. And this kind of, bearing in mind that this isn't the secondary, this is now the primary. When this it played with my mind, and I didn't drop for first. Which, again, in this matchup was interesting as well.
Because you just said Queensguard need to shoot first.
Yeah. So this was my list. And in picture format for visual people.
I need to do that. I still forgot. I saw how good it was when you did it for your tournament before this, and I thought, do it for the next one. And then I did. Art of War, I'll have it sorted. Promise.
That's it. Absolutely. So this is my deployment, and I went second. He dropped for first. And this was a huge, super tactical part of the game. A lot longer than I would ever normally sort of take on this sort of thing. But we did a bit of back and forth, and then he dropped for first. You can see my Sky Sloop is out of that bottleneck area. I got the win for everything. The drop, the win at the dice roll at the start, and I was the defender and chose the big center, which limited how forward he could be to a certain extent. And I felt give me a good sort of area to range, but again, I never really wanted to go first or drop because I didn't want the matchups like that. I wanted the measurements were really important to me, and the sloop is my vanguard guy who was vanguarded to where you see now. So I've got well, we should do him first because he dropped. He's got a line chariot, his Queensguard, who are very exactly 3 inches back, I think. So him putting him quite far back in terms of how far I could be. Then Swordmasters, then Spears with Reavers just in front, then his Archers with his Mage in there.
Yeah, the Fire Mage.
The scary Pirate Mage. The Knights of Rhymer with the BSB, and then the Lord on the flank with another unit of Reavers. So he dropped, and he was, apart from his ranged units, and bearing in mind he's going first, he put them a little bit back from his zone, meaning that I would have to be quite forward in order to shoot him and stuff. But also, I then had in my mind, well, if I say 36 away, then he can't shoot me because of movement and stuff like that. So
can't march and shoot.
We kind of started this game with my Queensguard on the left side of this big, huge impassable in the middle, which is an interesting one. And I kind of I was like, well, if he moves forward with any one of those units, my Queen's Guard will just have a field day. It's only a ruins
Yeah.
in front of them. It's not an impassable just there. And I thought that's a really nice sort of zoning sort of area for my Queen's Guard, putting them just far enough back so that if his Queen's Guard came forward, he couldn't shoot me, and if anything else came forward, I could. So that was quite nice. And I had sort of options to either go full on that side or just go for the other side, and I did the latter, thinking, well, I've got virtually the rest of my army against his 2 fighting units, so surely that'll be good. I put my line chariot, so I've got the sloop line chariot, and that is Rory on the left, even though he hasn't got his bottle of drink just yet. He's refilling. I actually put him down as one of my first ones, which is why he's where he is. Then I've got Queen's Guard, I've got Sea Guard with a buff dragon behind them, Reavers in the middle, just exactly opposite the Knights of Rhymer, where they need to be. The spears are very similar, although I am wary of the chariot. And we've got Catclaw and the missile-bearing dragon on the right. So, yeah, pretty sure the guy on the right won't ever see the light of battle or anything, so pretty happy with that.
You never know. I mean, you could always fly him in to get the channel at the end of the mission. You know?
Oh, well, yeah, exactly. So, and that was another reason for going second. To be honest, it made sense in terms of the mel of the Veil mastery. So I could just plonk onto there whenever I could, and in terms of getting out on my deployment is what I actually thought with this. Queen's Guard are going to kind of make their way left over 6 turns. Just moving ever so slightly.
Are they quick to fire at the moment? I can't remember.
Not quick to fire, but they are
not now. Yeah.
So they don't get quick to fire, but they do get accurate with the PSB in them. But my thought is on the last turn, I will just march out. So I'll get into a position where I can just march out to get the objective. And the spears are the other ones, but I'm pretty sure they're going to be okay.
They're going to be moving.
So it's just a case of don't die, really, at this point. So yeah, a super tactical one, actually. And I was, in the end, I was quite pleased. Especially going second with everything, and based that his shooting couldn't shoot turn 1. So I felt like I did. I had a really good deployment. Really,
you effectively got turn 1 anyway because he couldn't use turn 1.
Yeah, kind of. It was a weird one, but I was interested to see what he would do with that.
Yeah,
you know, because he can just, even though one of those units might die, Queen's Guard can't shoot everything. That's
no.
The big thing is they're really, really good, but they can only shoot one thing at a time. And as you can see, I need to delete everything before before getting to me. So it was an interesting one. I was very interested to see how he would play turn 1. Really. And on to the Bad Elves turn 1 movement. He kind of stays where he is. Very, very tentative with basically the line chariot moving the furthest forward. The character,
the Lord,
moving further forward,
Prince
on the right, really, and just to zone.
That's very tentative, isn't it?
Yeah, I was really surprised at how much he did stay back, because looking at the spears and the sword masters, I'm going to take at least 4 turns to shoot them. Like I know he did be depleted when he comes here, but it was an interesting one. So yeah, I was pleased that my Queen's Guard was, effectively put in what must be well over 1,000 points.
Easy.
Keeping it back, and the archers are there as well. So, yeah, really interested to see how tentative he was. In terms of magic, he gets flaming swords off on these bows. And I was like, all right, sure, you can have it.
Yeah, go crazy.
And that one off. Trying to stop the hereditary, but unfortunately I could not. And the spells are there because this is what they are at this moment in time. I think there's some slight changes in casting and things like that on some spells, so I've included them here just for your purposes.
Clarity.
Yeah. He then does shoot with the flaming swords reavers and gets a wound on Catclaw.
Well, that'll learn you.
Goodness me. The
was it actually the dice they needed? on
Yeah.
the +1 to wound instead of wounding
I'm
on
sure it was.
5s.
I'm
They
going to say
wounded on a
yes.
4.
I'm going to say
Yeah.
yes. So yeah, gutted I was. But yeah, and then we move on to the good elves turn 1 movement.
I was
We
okay with you calling them bad elves, but I'm not sure about good elves. I won't go that
yeah,
far.
well
Yeah.
yeah, with my Queen's Guard effectively nulling half his army, I just left them where they were. I think I
Yeah.
might have moved like an inch forward, knowing that I'd have to march in order to actually shoot. I moved it again to a position where if he moves forward with anything, I can shoot him, and
Mhm.
his Queen's Guard can't get mine, and archers as well. So otherwise, I kind of used the impassable as a divide for the battle, and moved up fairly tentatively with my wings, literally the wings, going up the most, so that they were out of 18-inch range, which is the Lion Chariots charge range, and useful for future battle. Catclaw hides behind the hill, very scared of the Reavers, but also if anything moves forward, he's got a nice juicy flank. They're trying to create it so that it makes it really, really difficult for him to keep everything in the front. Is the idea behind that. We go on to shooting, and I get living steel on these, which he kind of lets off, and then after that, I measure that everything can see these guys poking out. They do have hard target, but I don't care about long range. And with living steel, that goes from a 2 to a 1, so I'm hitting on 3s. And
I think you mean hard cover, don't you?
Yes.
Well, not hard target, but
yes,
sure.
Yeah. Hard cover, so the -2. But even with that -2, I'm still hitting on 3s with living steel. So
very nice.
Really, really interesting. And they just get popped. They don't stand a chance. I believe living steel has changed since this. That it doesn't.
It's only combat now.
Go for shooting. So there you go. But at the time,
obviously there was too much shooting meta going on, including myself potentially, but I didn't ever.
That is a change for this, but I fully used that to my advantage for this game.
That's a good spot. Good spot.
On to the bad elves turn 2, and God, they are really inching in that middle, using their movement advantage to basically move up to see how much exactly that they can get away with and set up some charges. I don't think it's really any shock to know that if he charges my Sea Guard, I'm fleeing like the Pansy Elf ever. But the spears, I'm interested in how.
With the Sea Guard, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm interested how the spears would do against the Knights of Rhinemat, knowing that I've got my Lord, and I'm AP.
That's all you.
Against
That's all
them,
you.
Giving him a 4-up save. I'm fairly interested that he will do damage. Of course, agility is the big one. But it's just whether I can weather that and go in. I've got a 5-up Aegis save in the first round as well when he does come in.
Absolutely.
And I've got a few ways of stopping his devastating charge bonuses and things like that. So really interested to see this really, and especially with my support elements, what I could do.
Question.
Yes.
It doesn't matter that you've moved on picture-wise. Does Darren know he's got another half of his army?
Well, absolutely. Well, he's just as scared of losing them one by one as I am worried that I won't kill him one by one. I think is a bit of a turn.
Yeah.
And this is turn 2 now, where he gets hereditary off as well, which is always a bonus just in case my Queen's Guard do come forward. It's worth noting that he did have that last turn with the Reavers. It just didn't matter. I've got 21, 24 shots or something like that. It just happened. He shoots with his archers to kill one of these guys and start plinking away, which is fair enough. And then we move on to Good Elves turn 2. I stay fairly back with the Queen's Guard and stuff, again, keeping very happy just to keep his whole army there. But I move forward my sloop, kind of thinking that I can get in range of that Lion Chariot to try and have a pop, or start popping, because it's about the only thing that's not within the hereditary range of the mage. And also, I've got a 2-up, 5-up, and the Queen's Guard, I kind of half remember that the Queen's Guard are AP naught. So with 4 wounds and a 2 at 5 up and hard target on him, I think. I want to see if he can weather that.
Well, if he takes 1 or 2 wounds, then you just pull him back, don't you? So
I don't think it'll do it. They'll do it in 1.
No, they shouldn't.
But it's a bit of a risk in order to start popping away at that thing as well as start whittling them down. So if I can get some points from the line chariot, I'm very happy. In the middle, we do a close up, or I should say, on the right side of the battlefield. We, as well as my
railroad building.
Yes, in fact I will get back just for a second, and I'll take us off because there's a lot to talk about in this, and I was very pleased with how I sorted out everything. The dragon goes over to breathe at the reavers, and the lion chariot comes up to the flank. The reavers have enough movement to get to where they are there, and it means that they sort of create this little pivot and lines thing that I had, and a great way to plug movementtray.com, who provide not only movement trays but these wonderful little customized measurement sticks, which are really interesting. So what the measurement sticks show is overrun potential. So the edge of the long one, I guess, moving down from the middle to the right, is where the Knights of Rhymer would end up if they went into the Reavers and had the overrun. So that's their absolute maximum overrun. Similarly, if the Lion Chariot went in and teleported all the way to that side, that edge is where his base would be, and the overrun there. The 12 inches, which is the one that's closest to the Reavers, going to the left, is the maximum distance. So it kind of created this little niche bottleneck in the middle where my spears could go right up and my Sea Guard could go right up to basically nullify his movement advantage, which I was super pleased with. I was super pleased that I thought of it and found it and measured it out and stuff. And this has got to be the most tactical I've ever been in any sort of battle.
Is his character in the Rhymer somewhere? There's small possibility his character could charge out alone, right? But
super don't care about that.
No, I didn't think you did.
Even against my Sea Guard, I think I'm good, to be honest. So with that in mind, I was like, well, I'll push up as much as possible. I'll get close to that center. My dragon comes up as a bit of support as well to charge things, and I want to see what he does. If he goes in, he's gonna get absolutely charged by the world, and I'm no worse on the charge as I am getting charged now with spears as they are. So I just wanted to show you this because I was super proud of
that's very good
of this.
Very good. I should really start using my movementtray.com markers.
Absolutely, everyone should.
Yeah, I agree.
They're magnetic. Well, these aren't, but let's. God.
Good try.
I get Molten Copper off to plink a wound on this guy, and right now that's the only way I see of getting anything on him. He does have a 4-up save, and I think he's got he's 1-up to magical. So it's 5-up, 4-up. So it's unlikely to do lots of wounds, but I was pleased to do 1 at least.
Definitely.
There. And then he goes and breathes away the remaining Reavers.
That's cool.
Yeah, happy to get some points there, both Reavers, and let's see what we can do on the other side. And my guy has 4 shots. Hits with everything.
Oh, that's a lucky sixes roll if ever there was one.
And he's got some 6s to save, and he doesn't. And it's it's superb.
Will you roll a 1 just once?
Well, he did. He rolled them all 4.
Well, I wasn't talking to Darren, but sure.
No, I know you weren't. Yeah. Fantastic. Now, can he weather the storm? The important thing, really.
Well, I mean, in theory, now your guy can literally start on the Queen's Guard, and there's only 13 of them.
Yeah. Again,
so
the test is if he takes 3 wounds, he's running away.
Yeah.
If not, he's going to pop.
Well, I mean, you got 4 shots a turn, so judging by your logic, you should kill 13 of them in 3 turns, right?
Absolutely.
By the way, I know my maths is wrong. That's intentional. It's intentional.
If you think his maths is wrong, join our Patreon. This is the Bad Elves turn 3, and again, turn 3 by this point I realise he's not coming forward. That's where he's sitting for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
So yeah, really interested by that. He actually moved back on the right as well, which just made me even more prouder. I was like, yes, it must have worked. And now it's whether
it really has.
the Reavers can survive in this as well.
Yeah.
He gets a Dragon's Roar off with a 555, which I can't stop. It's too good a die. I think it was 3 dice actually, and a 555, so I have to let it go, trying to stop other things. And this is the Dragon's Roar spell as it is. I think that's changed as well, but I don't know what to.
Okay, I'm not sure.
And yeah, I don't know what that was showing. I'm sure that's showing something. Oh, that might be showing some archers dying.
Okay.
But we move on. And he dices me on Pyroflow to kill 8 of my big spear unit, which I was gutted that he got it off, but it was, I think it was, he had 8 versus 5, got the 555, and then just diced me. So it happens, but unfortunately there.
He's getting revenge for the chariot.
Absolutely, so, absolutely. He also gets the hereditary off, so he must have had more dice. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, it's a lot of spells.
But yeah. Another hereditary off as well. Just a super good magic phase for him, as we all know.
Well, maybe he split his dice like you potentially should in that situation.
Yeah, sure.
But
Dragon's Roar goes off and kills 3 with the archers, as you can see there, doing the rest. And yeah, it was the Reavers were not long for this world. Really.
No, they survived a turn longer than they could have done, so they're happy.
Which did pose a bit of a quandary for me in this next turn. So this is how it looks at the end of his turn 3, going into my 3. Should say, haven't even mentioned the Sky Sloop. Didn't get plinked at all. It was unharmed, which made me A, super confident of the battle ahead, and B, a little bit bemoaning my tentativeness up till now, actually. But yeah. So interested to see what we'll do over there. Here I had another pause for thought, and I had some options basically from where I set up. The Lion Chariot, Catclaw, could go into the other Lion Chariot, but I'm height 4. He's multiple wounds 2. It didn't seem right, but it would. No. It could potentially hold him up, but I wasn't confident of that. But it was an option. No. The other option was to go in either solo or with my dragon into the side of the Rhymer Knights, and I seriously considered this. Although it was I'd need a 5 on dice, maybe a 6 with my Lion Chariot, so it was a bit sketchy whether he would get in, and I would need him in order to do some damage. So I didn't know where to do it. Interestingly, they've got the resistance to flame in, which my dragon has completely, but he would be in a water, so I could turn it off. So that was a nice niche
handy puddle
that hardly ever comes up. Yeah, absolutely. He's just doused himself, going, I'm not fighting anymore. The other, again, a slightly riskier and needing a 5 or 6 on dice to get in, was the dragon charge into the flank of the archers as well. So I had some options, and I did think long and hard about this.
And you went for none of them.
And rightfully so. So let us know what you think. You think I would do. And
there's 2 different thoughts. Sorry, finish that sentence. Go on.
Oh yeah, this was actually more to the viewers. Put in the comments what you think I would do and what you would do in that. But yeah, go for it.
Okay, there's 2 different thoughts. One is the pre-Team England you, and one is the post-Team England you. Because pre-Team England, it would have all been charge for a 6. No, lucky 6s. He gets a 6 charge. He's in on the archers. That's you. Post-Team England, you play it a little bit more cautiously. So I think you did nothing.
You're exactly right.
There you go.
I decided to move as far over with my dragon as possible, and my Catclaw is in the flank. He's not worried to get charged. But again, I've moved back with my units, knowing that the Nice Rhymer could easily charge the Sea Guard, but again, no secret, I'm going to flee. And wanting him to do that because he couldn't see Catclaw, and I would have an easier charge there. So I move back on that side. My sloop moves up, and my Queen's Guard, again, just happy just to keep him back.
Yeah. Good stuff.
I get Living Steel off on the Sea Guard. And I start plinking away. I get 3 out of 4 this time for the Queen's Guard, so doing all right there.
Yeah,
and I kind of, after doing this as well, I kind of go, maybe I should have just moved my Queen's Guard and taken 9 shots,
get forward.
10 shots.
Get forward now. Yeah.
Because they don't.
Yeah, I was surprised you didn't at that point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, yeah, I do this and I go, oh, maybe I've missed, because I'm in the shooting phase now. I can't do nothing about it. And I go, no. maybe I should have. He takes I think he needs a 5 on dice. He does charge my Sea Guard. I do flee, shock horror. And then he goes for the longer charge, needing a 5, possibly a 6, into my spears. Just hoping he fails that, and I can get some nice juicy charges in with the dragon now in the rear.
You're a few elves down, aren't you? So
like that. Unfortunately, he gets in, and with nothing but a 5 up Aegis on my side, I'm a bit like, I wish he hadn't. But we will see now. Big crunch time. I still think I'm good with the Spear Lord, and I'm spears against mounted, which is exactly what they want to be against. If I can hold, I've got a rear charge, a dragon charge. It's all about just holding and seeing what these Rhymer can do. But we know Rhymer from the future in big units, especially with the character, they might be all right.
Yeah.
So this is the remaining movements for Bad Elves turn 4, and he stays way back on that left side. Apart from the archers who turn basically to face down my dragon, and the chariot, his lord chaffs my chariot. Catclaw.
Interesting.
Which is interesting, and
I think in that scenario, it's probably him blocking you rather than chaffing, because it's not chaff in the conventional sense, is it? Well, he knows you don't want
a
that
block.
fight,
That's what chaff is. I think. I don't know. He's stopping me charge.
Yeah.
But he doesn't.
I was trying to be fancy with my words, but all right.
Yeah, he's not. He's also not worried about losing his line chariot.
No. Yeah,
which is, I think, what you mean. KD members goes off on my big spear unit. I let this one off because I didn't want him to have something else.
Yeah.
I think this might have been the time when I let this off to try and stop the hereditary. But unfortunately, he also gets the hereditary off. The actual, was it 2d3?
2d3.
How's he done? Oh, this is after combat. He gets an hereditary. The hereditary basically saves all my spear guys' wounds, which is why I didn't want it, but unfortunately got it off. And then he goes to town. He kills 8 of my guys after Rage saves. I kill 4 of his. I am steady, not steadfast, and I think it's -3 anyway, regardless. But it is -3, so it's down to a 7, and it's not re-rollable.
No.
And thankfully I pass. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Whew.
It might be -2 actually, thinking about it, because I remember 8 in my head. But yeah. Oh my goodness. That was squeaky bum time. But now that I have passed, I'm pretty confident of wiping them out because of the thing. But yeah, I mean, if he didn't have the hereditary, it wouldn't have been close. So it was a big one. My dragon decides to go in. And of course, Catclaw takes one for the team, doing chaffing like true chaffers do, knowing that he will die. And Rory, by this point as well, I haven't mentioned him in the whole thing, has just made his way over. And
I know, he's had a good little trip.
Yeah, he's just chilled out a bit, and is basically watching Catclaw for tips on how to chaff. Spoiler. The dragon comes around to this side basically to get out of arc, choosing not to charge the archers with Although I say with the hereditary up, but he has used it, so it's an interesting one.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why I didn't just go in there, mate. He's not the fighty guy the model suggests. is
No.
actually probably why I didn't go in. And
What was it?
so,
Stomp 1 or something?
D3, and he's only 4
Oh,
attacks.
D3.
And he like
Yeah.
he could whiff, but yeah. So I come around to the side basically for some pyro flow action, and I move forward with the Queensguard finally on my turn 4 to start shooting. I do march up this turn and just settle that I'm going to get some shots, but know that I'm not going to get too many.
There's a big rally check to do on these Seaguard as well.
There is later on, of course, after the magic and stuff. I get Favour Melodies and Living Steel just to help me survive more than anything. With any attacks that do come my way. And I kill 4 more Queensguard, so it's going well.
I'm not far wrong with the maths, am I?
No, not at all, not at all. I've killed 7
I
out
am
of 13.
factually wrong, but
yeah, 7 out of 13. Which means my Queensguard, even taking 6 wounds, will still absolutely muller these guys. So yeah, happy with Sloop's involvement there, and probably
definitely
a little bit tentative because I could have shot them off this turn. So
and then start on the Swordmasters. Yeah.
I rally with the Seaguard.
Good. That's important in a game where not a lot of points has been traded.
Yeah, absolutely. And turn to face, which they did have the BSB reroll, which that is part of rally, isn't it? It's a check.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't remember what's command check and what's not. Basically, over here, my guy absolutely mullers them.
Oh no, it's a good point actually. No, you were right. BSB isn't a reroll. I don't know. I'm confused.
But yeah, over here, I only have to use one of the Favour Melodies to stop the thing. Which
nice.
It does bear the question why I didn't use it to stop one of the wounds on the dragon, but that's by the by. I do all the wounds to the Knights of Rymar. I get his lord down to 1, and he holds on a double 1.
Oh,
insane courage of old, and I'm like, oh,
were you attacking before him?
Yep.
What with your lord? Your lord must have done most of the damage, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
But it was he rolled a double 1. I couldn't do it. I was like, oh, he needed a double 1. He rolled a double 1. I was like, oh, all right, well done.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not thinking that I'd be in combat. To be fair, it's not the worst thing because he is chaffed. He can't go into me.
Taking a couple of wounds.
I arguably can't be shot at. But yeah, I was like, oh, fair play. Cat Claw, this is the last you'll see of him, maybe. I might take one more picture, I'm not sure. And this is the Bad Elves, a turn 5. His Swordmasters and Spears finally decide to get up from their reading. I'm sure it's a book club they were in back there. And just march forward as much as possible. I guess to give me lots of targets and to start me thinking about that. And here you can see he got Hereditary and Cage of Embers off on my dragon, just in front of him. I think that's that's shooting that he does to me there. But also, yeah, it's just his magic's pretty relentless, pretty good. Which obviously Hive magic's pretty decent.
I think Darren's very good at magic generally. I think that's one of his strengths as a player. Actually.
Yeah, and I should say as well that when he does cast Hereditary, virtually everything is in. The thing there, it is in range.
Yeah.
He kills 1 Queensguard with his 6. With his 6 Queensguard. So that has weathered the storm and allowed me to get in myself. And of course, Catclaw is gone, as we mentioned. No picture of him, just his lion's skull.
Yeah.
I finish off the last wound on his guy with my Spear Prince, I think. I think at this point I turn off one of his items. His Aegis or something. Just to get it gone, knowing that I'm not going to go into the Lion Chariot dude at this point. And on to my turn, and I decide to pull the plug. Let's go. Let's see what I can do here. I know I didn't take it earlier, but let's go one more. I don't think he's going to do any wounds to me. It's just whether I can do wounds to him.
Yeah.
And Rory goes over to Chaff, and you can see the rest of me here. I don't need to move with the Queen's Guard. He's moved into range, and I've got my choice picks. The Sea Guard just come up to support, yeah, this is as we are. This is a lovely picture over here of the venue, Tony in the background, yourself and Matty and Darren facing off.
What a pleasure it was.
And a particularly good one against Matty that I really like to highlight here. An absolute gem of a man.
Isn't he just?
And a picture that I will savour, and I thought it was quite actually provocative.
That's your screensaver, isn't it? On your wallpaper on your phone.
This is
and
now
also,
my screensaver, Matty. So yeah, good to know. But we move on to the actual game, and I put Evil Eye off on the archers just to lower their courage if they do
nice.
take a check. So I get 666 off though. And I killed 2 of my guys in doing so, and it was 3 dice, and I was just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Over here, as you can see, the Queen's Guard with flaming swords just decimate the sword masters. There was 21 there. There's now 8 or 9, and it's absolutely crazy. I decided not to go into the Queen's Guard because the other guy is making pretty short work of them. With 1 more turn to go, he's killed 3 more.
I'm actually going to be right with the 4 turns thing, aren't I?
Maybe. So there we are with that shooting going very, very nice. I should say as well at this point, I think we played. Oh yeah, no, I'll go. I'll move on. The dragon did no wounds at all. He went in, missed all his attacks. I think my stomp did 1, but he had hereditary, and I ran. I was down by. I had a charge. He had a flank, and I think I was down by 1 or 2, and I fled. And I took 2 wounds from the cage of embers.
Of course you
did.
Yeah.
I was just like, this is like this. Over here onto his turn, he decides to charge in, and Rory's now found his drink because he's a drinker. I don't know whether you know. He is going to go down with that bottle. The thing I was referring to, or I was going to refer to, the Swordmasters fled. Now I'm not sure.
That's a shame.
They should have fled in this iteration. I know.
No, they shouldn't. They should have been shaken.
Actually,
panic,
fleeing and stuff. So it actually put them more than 35 away from me, so I couldn't shoot them again. Which I was like, like that. But there are some nice Queen's Guard there to have a look at as well. But this is the bad Elves turn 6, and he just kind of decides to go in with the Lion Chariot and really not much else. He does move to within 8 of the middle now, though. So with the objective, now potentially, obviously, I'm looking pretty good for it. Otherwise, but yeah, I've got to be wary of that. Rory dies to the Lion Chariot on the last turn. And this is my turn 6. So the Queen's Guard haven't moved up, and that is because they now don't have to, because I've lost his, or Darren's got his second objective, because he got a few wounds on my spears to mean that they're decimated.
Right.
So it was one of the things that I didn't really keep track of, that decimated was one of the things, because it was decimated, shaken, or destroyed, all that stuff. And in my so I was happy enough with them just being surviving, but it's not being shaken or anything, not fleeing. But that still wasn't enough to win the objective, which meant he got his objective. So my only thing now was to get my objective to draw it. So they didn't have to move because they were all in range of what I was now going for, which was the archers and the mage. It was all pumped into that now. My Sea Guard can see, my Queen's Guard can see, and they're within range. And the sloop moves up so that he's got an option to either pop off the rest of the Queen's Guard or add in a few more wounds there as well. I did debate going after the Swordmasters to see if I could get down to a quarter, but I think I'd have to loot. I'd have to kill 4 to get down to 5, and that is a bit of a gamble considering I've only got 4 shots, and my Queen's Guard can't now see them. Which again, if they're a bit closer, maybe I would have done that. But with the mage getting there, I don't want him to win the objective. So it's all basically on there. The dragon goes forward as well to try and breathe away. and everything goes in, and everything. So I have to leave the Queen's Gale alone in order to kill the rest of the unit. I think before the breath weapon, I think I get him. There's 2 archers left, and the guy down to 2 because of the way I did one individually
Wound split.
first.
It's split. Yeah.
And then the breath weapon goes, and I distribute as per shooting, and I kill the rest of the unit. And
Brilliant.
yeah, kill that. So I draw the secondary objective, but of course I don't get the Queen's Guard points. I don't get any points for the Sword Masters that I did so much damage for. So I was like, if I'd have moved forward that turn earlier, maybe even 2 turns earlier, I would have got a lot more points here. But that it did get me that, it did draw me the objective, and it's a big chunk of points. It's about 900 points all in with the mage and the archers as well. So yeah, happy enough. The dragon also that fled from the archers ends up rallying, so we're good there as well. So yeah, cool. Really tactical game, ending in a 14-6. Draw an objective completely because we both got the secondary, as you can see there. But points wise, I did enough to earn a 14-6. It was I guess a little bit like Tommy in what could have been points wise. I really, at one point, with him not moving forward and me getting all into that Swordmasters unit, I really thought a huge win was coming. But Darren did well to mitigate that and to focus all of his things. And I didn't realise until it was too late, really. Focus all of his damage spells into my spears to make them decimated. So well done, Darren, for that. That was actually pretty important. And yeah, good game. Well fought.
Indeed, yeah, good one, nice one, and we'll move into my round 3 for the next game very soon. And you've seen who it's against. It's against Matty P.
Yes,
so we'll look forward to that one as we always do.
Yep, absolutely. So yeah, like, share, subscribe, all that jazz. Patreon, thank you very much, and until next time, see you.